Today we are going to talk about birth injuries and newborn temperature regulation. That is a topic of neonatology again. Okay. So what do you mean by birth injury? Birth injuries are injuries to the infant or the newborn baby. Because of what? Because of some mechanical forces like compression and traction which can occur during the birth process. Okay, be it normal delivery or cesarean section. Now, significant birth injury is found in 6 to 8 newborns per 1000 live births. Obviously, larger infants or larger newborns are more susceptible to birth trauma because they will undergo more compression and more traction. Okay. What are the predisposing factors? Which newborns will be susceptible to birth injuries? Like primigravida mother, first baby, okay, they are more prone to get birth injuries. Why? Because of prolonged labor, it can happen during the first time. And cephalopelvic disproportion, you will learn about this in the gynecology or obstetric classes. Like what do you mean by cephalopelvic disproportion? The pelvic diameter and the diameter of the head, they are not compatible. If the diameter of the head is more, the head can get stuck inside the pelvis and this can lead to prolonged labor, difficult extraction and more chance of birth injuries. Okay. Again, short stature of the mother. When you will learn in obstetrics, what do you mean by some high risk pregnancy or bad obstetric history? This short stature of mother is also important because if the mother is having short stature, the pelvic diameter can also be less. Okay, the skeletal structure is short, that's why. Then again, pelvic anomalies of the mother, any problem with the hip bone. Okay. Now, what do you mean by macrosomia? Fetal macrosomia. Macro means big, somia means body. Okay, if the fetus is having a big body, when does it happen? Macrosomic fetus? Diabetes, very good, baby of diabetic mother. And even large for date infants, okay, as per the expected delivery date or gestational age, the size of the baby is big. Most common factor is baby of diabetic mother, okay, and that is birth weight is more than 4.500 kg. What is the normal birth weight of a newborn? Yes. So 4.5 kilo is so big, okay. And prolonged labor or precipitate labor. If the labor process is very long, the baby is stuck in the birth canal for a long time. So that can lead to injuries, okay. What is precipitate labor? Precipitate labor means suddenly the baby is getting delivered, okay. And that because of the suddenness of the incident, the baby can suffer injury, okay. What is deep transverse arrest? Again, you will learn about it in the obstetric class. When the head of the fetus is stuck inside the pelvis, that is a deep transverse arrest. Oligohydramnios, what is that? When the amount of the liquor is less. Liquor actually protects the baby from injuries. So, if the amount of liquor is less inside the uterus, that can lead to fetal injuries. And breech presentation, normal, what is the normal presentation? Cephalic presentation. The oitari ulto hocche breech presentation. Okay. So something abnormal, something unconventional will lead to injuries. Now use of mid cavity forceps like forceps delivery, that can lead to injuries. And vacuum extraction, if you use ventouse or vacuum extraction for delivery of the baby, that can lead to injury. Version extraction, these are some obstetric maneuvers which are used during delivery of the baby if the presentation of the baby is not cephalic. So that can lead to injuries. Very low birth weight babies. What do you mean by very low birth weight baby? Yes. Now extremely premature baby and multiple gestation, if you have twin deliveries, there can be more and more chance of birth injuries. Large fetal head and fetal anomalies, like there is a condition called hydrops. What do you mean by hydrops? There is accumulation of fluid in one or more body cavities like the abdomen, like the chest cavity. At that point of time, the shape of the baby is not normal. The baby is distended. So, while the delivery is being done, the baby will suffer injuries. Okay. So, these are some fetal anomalies. Now, we will talk about some types of injuries. What are the types of injuries? Soft tissue injuries, most common. The skin and soft tissues may undergo some abrasions, ecchymosis or bruise. Very severe cases, there can be laceration and even subcutaneous fat necrosis. So, this is a picture. Any physical harm to the newborn during labor or delivery is called birth injury. So, look at this picture. There can be head injury, there can be nerve damage, the brachial plexus is damaged, there can be bone fractures, there is soft tissue injury. Understood? Now we will talk about skull. Skull e amra ki pete pari? Very commonly caput succedaneum followed by cephal hematoma and linear fracture. So this is a picture. What are the points of differences between caput succedaneum and cephal hematoma? So caput succedaneum, just look at the picture. These are the layers of the scalp. So this is the skin and we have this is the total scalp. This is the skull and the periosteum bone. Beneath we have the dura mater and the arachnoid membrane. This is a subdural hematoma. Okay. And this is a epidural hematoma. So this is durar tolay hocche epidural. Eikhane dura tar tolay subdural. ঠিক আছে? Just look at the anatomy. This is the dura mater and this is subdural and this is covered by the dura mater. This is outside the dura mater. So it is epidural and we can have this subgallial hemorrhage, that is below the gallia aponeurotica. Okay, just remember the anatomy. And this is the periosteum. Beneath the periosteum we are getting cephal hematoma. So cephal hematoma is subperiosteal bleeding. Okay. Now what is caput succedaneum? It is just beneath the skin and the subcutaneous tissue. Okay. So what happens? This caput succedaneum will be crossing the suture line. It will cross the suture line. But cephal hematoma will not cross the suture line because it is fixed to the bone. Okay. Now which one is more harmful? Caput succedaneum or cephal hematoma? Anyone? Why? Why is it more harmful? Yes. Why? Yes, because the bleeding can be significant. It can lead to anemia. Later there can be development of neonatal jaundice also, and it takes a long time to get resolved. It can be associated with skull bone fracture also because it is just beneath the bone. If any injury is causing cephal hematoma, that injury can also cause skull bone fracture. So it is more dangerous. But caput succedaneum is found in many normal newborns also. Just during the delivery, what happens? There is huge amount of pressure over the fetal head, and that can lead to molding of the bones of the skull, and there can be beneath the subcutaneous tissue there can be some collection. Okay, this will be taught during the obstetric class also when you will learn about normal labor. Okay, the stages of labor, what happens each and every stage. Okay. Now we come to face. What injuries can happen? The newborn can have subconjunctival hemorrhage. Even severely there can be retinal hemorrhage. There can be some nerve injuries like brachial plexus injury, even cranial nerve injury, spinal cord injury. How will they happen? Look at this picture. Look at the left eye of this newborn baby. We are seeing subconjunctival hemorrhage. Okay? Understood? Now we are also seeing musculoskeletal injuries. There can be fracture of the bones like clavicle. Clavicle fracture is very common. And unfortunately, the babies can also have fracture of the long bone. If there is any traction of the neck, there can be tear of the sternocleidomastoid muscle also. There can be some injury to the intra-abdominal organs like liver hematoma, splenic hematoma, adrenal hemorrhage, kidney hemorrhage. These are the deep visceral organs are getting injured in severe cases. Now we will talk about soft tissue injuries like abrasions and lacerations. Why are they happening? Because of scalpel cuts during the cesarean section or instrumental delivery. What is the management? You will carefully clean the cut and application of antibiotic ointment. And if there is huge amount of bleeding, there is gaping of the wound, we may require to do surgical suturing also. Okay. Look at this. Because of the scalpel cuts, we are seeing some abrasions. See? Okay. Now we will talk about the nerve injuries. Most commonly, brachial plexus injury. Brachial plexus, what is the location? Okay. So, it is most common in the large babies. So, it is near the shoulder, neck and shoulder. Okay. Most common in the large babies. Why? If there is shoulder dystocia, this will also be taught in obstetric class. If the shoulder is stuck during the normal delivery and there is huge difficulty in delivering the shoulder, particularly it happens in big babies. So, at that point of time, the neck is facing a lot of force. You are just pulling the shoulder, okay, and the neck region. So, that can create, and you are even pulling the upper arm to deliver the baby. Okay, during this process, the brachial plexus may get injured. Breech delivery also, the incidence is 0.5 to 2 per 1000 live births. Most common is Erb's palsy. You have learnt it in anatomy in first year. Okay, most common is Erb's palsy, and in about 10% of cases, the entire brachial plexus may get injured. What happens? This is the delivery of the baby, and here is the location of the brachial plexus. So, while the delivery is taking place, if this region, the neck, the shoulder, the upper arm is facing more and more amount of force, compression, traction, this brachial plexus is very delicate and it will get injured. Okay. So, now we will talk about Erb palsy or Duchenne Erb palsy. You already know these things from anatomy. So, it is a lesion in C5, C6. A very important MCQ point also, C5, C6 injury. Then, and Erb palsy is the most common type of brachial plexus injury. So, ki hoy, it is associated with lack of shoulder motion. So, after the newborn baby is born, you are examining the baby and suddenly you notice that a baby is not moving one of the shoulders. Okay, there is less movement and the involved extremity, I will show the picture, will be adducted, will be prone and internally rotated. There will be flexion at the wrist and fingers in the characteristic wetter tip posture. Do you remember the posture? Yes, wetter tip posture. And there is also, when I will examine the reflexes, there will be absence of the Moro reflex, biceps reflex, radial reflex, because they are innervated by C5, C6. Okay. But the grasp reflex will be present. Why grasp reflex will be present? Anyone just remember the anatomy? Grasp reflex se kon nerve কাজ করে? Ulnar nerve. তো ulnar nerve root value আলাদা. So grasp reflex will be present, but these movements will be found. I will show you the picture. Look at this, a newborn baby. Look at this hand. There is adduction. Okay, there is pronation. Okay, and there is also internal rotation of this left upper limb, and there is flexion at the wrist, flexion of the fingers, and typical wetter tip posture. Left upper limb is affected, or the left brachial plexus is has gone palsy. Okay. Now we will talk about Klumpke palsy. Klumpke palsy ki root value C7, C8, T1. It is a rare palsy, rare birth injury. Here what happens? Weakness of the intrinsic muscles of the hand. So, there will be absence of the grasp reflex. And you can get Ipsilateral, that is on the same side, you will get features of the Horner syndrome. What happens there? If the cervical sympathetic fibers of T1 spinal nerve is involved. Okay? Horner syndrome e ki hoto? But jore bol, jore bol. Yes, very good, very good. So this is a picture of Klumpke's paralysis. ক্লটা দেখতে পাচ্ছিস? এটা হচ্ছে আলনার ক্ল, ঠিক আছে? অন্যান্য মুভমেন্টস ঠিক আছে, জাস্ট একটা আলনার ক্ল আছে, তাই জন্য গ্রাস্প করতে পারছে না, ঠিক আছে? What is the treatment? You will first, when you are suspecting, first you will do X-ray of the shoulder and the upper arm to rule out any bony injury, whether there is any fracture. Exclude diaphragmatic palsy. Okay, diaphragm palsy holeo to problem hote pare, phrenic nerve paralysis. Now if there is no fracture, if there is no diaphragmatic palsy, you will have to start physiotherapy with some passive movements. It should be started within 7 to 10 days, not early, because in the early stage there is some neuritis, some inflammation. Suppose there is an injury, there will be inflammation. So after the inflammation gets resolved, we will start physiotherapy. What is the prognosis? Prognosis of the nerve palsies, plexus injuries, that depends on the extent of the injury. যত extensive injury হবে তত prognosis poor হবে, ঠিক আছে? And if the nerve root is intact, then it is excellent. But if the nerve root is avulsed, you remember the roots প্রথমে থাকে, তারপরে branches গুলো হয়, তো root যদি intact থাকে then it is good prognosis. যদি rootটাই avulsion হয়ে যায় then it is poor prognosis. And significant clinical improvement happens in the 2 weeks. And most babies recover fully by 3 months. Okay. If you need to do surgery, surgery is required in the poor prognosis cases which are not responding to physiotherapy. When you see that even after 3 months, the baby is having poor biceps function, and you have already done the electromyogram study and the nerve conduction studies, and you are seeing that there is no recovery. So you will have to do surgery and you will have to repair the nerve roots. Okay. Now we will talk about clavicular fracture. Just look at this right clavicle, it is broken. Can you appreciate it? There is right clavicular fracture. Now why does it happen? Clavicle is the most frequently fractured bone in newborn during birth. Can again the traction is ei jayagaয়, ঠিক আছে? During in the neck and the shoulder region, the clavicle is going to face a huge amount of force, so it will undergo fracture. And it is also related with the birth weight, shoulder dystocia, forceps delivery. And if there is clavicular fracture, there will be pseudo paralysis. What do you mean by pseudo paralysis? Anyone? Pseudo means false. So it is not true paralysis, it is false paralysis. Why the baby will not move that hand? Because there is pain. As the clavicle has undergone fracture, if you try to move that arm, the baby will feel pain. So the baby will prefer not to move that arm. So that is pseudo paralysis. Tell me one condition where there is pseudo paralysis of the limbs. Very common MCQ. কোন কন্ডিশনে pseudo paralysis হয়? A vitamin deficiency. Clue দিলাম। কোন ভিটামিন ডেফিসিয়েন্সিতে pseudo paralysis হয়? পায়ে এত ব্যথা হয়, it's so painful to move the limbs. একজন বললি মনে হয়, বল না, B12 না, স্কারভিতে কি হয়? Vitamin C deficiency. Yes, pseudo paralysis. Now on examination, in case of clavicular fracture examination, what will you find? Crepitus. What is crepitus? Crepitus কিভাবে দেখে? You press it, you will be here, you will be able to feel some boggy feeling, a typical noise. When you examine the respiratory system, what is the sound of the crepitus? Can anyone describe? Crepitus can be coarse, it can be fine, But the sound is like what? It resembles what? Anyone? A very crude explanation. If you just touch your ear and do like this, yeah, you will be hear that noise that sounds like crepes. So in case of bony crepitus, just take 2 strands of hair and just do like this. That particular sound resembles crepitus. Okay. When we were in our first year or second year, our sir used to teach us like that. The sound resembles that. When you are trying to auscultate the chest, just try to find out that noise. Okay. So bony crepitus is a bit different. You will just palpate and you will be able to appreciate that noise. Bony crepitus, it happens in fracture. Okay. Again, there is a condition called surgical emphysema. You might have learned about it in surgery classes or ENT classes. That also creates crepitus because there is collection of air in the subcutaneous tissue. That also gives that type of noise. Okay. Obviously, since there is a fracture, there will be bony irregularity and also spasm of the sternocleidomastoid muscle. So, look at this picture, right clavicular fracture. Obviously, it is a fracture. To confirm it, you will have to do a X-ray. What is healing usually occurs in 7 to 10 days because the baby is a newborn. The bones, the healing process is much better. Okay, the healing will usually happen in 7 to 10 days. So what is the treatment? To decrease the pain, arm motion may be limited by pinning the infant's sleeve to the shirt. The baby is so small, the movements are less, you just pin the sleeve of the shirt with the body of the shirt. So the baby will not move. So the pain will be less and the recovery will occur earlier. And obviously, whenever you are diagnosing clavicular injury, you will assess whether there is any injury to the spine, whether there is any injury to the brachial plexus, and whether there is any injury to the humerus. Okay. Now, cranial nerve and spinal cord injuries, they are severe. But when can they happen? Hyperextension. So, never hyperextend the baby. So, those who have newborn babies, have seen newborn babies in their households, you must have seen mother always holds the back of the neck because the neck holding happens at which month? Kon mashe neck holding hoy? 3 months. So, tar age obdi, tar poreo kora hoy je necker tolaয় একটা হাত দেবে because the sudden hyperextension which can happen if the neck support is not given properly, that can just create a traction on the cervical spine, and we don't want that. Okay, so hyperextension, traction, overstretching with simultaneous rotation, that can give rise to injuries, and that can range from local neuropraxia to complete nerve or cord transection. Maybe in physiology you have learnt about the type of nerve injuries. Neuropraxia is much simpler and total transection is a severe type. Okay. Now we will switch to the second topic of the day, that is temperature regulation of the newborn. Okay. So why is temperature regulation so important in the newborn? Why we need to cover the newborn babies? Why do we need to maintain normal temperature? আমরা তো অতটা মেনটেন করি না, but why is it so important for the newborns? Why? Because their body surface area is more and they are more prone to lose heat from the body and they will undergo hypothermia, and hypothermia is a very life-threatening condition if it is not treated at time. If it becomes severe, that can lead to multi-organ failure and even death in the baby. So, maintaining temperature is so important. When you have learned about resuscitation, that is in general medicine about ACLS or BLS, we talk about airway breathing circulation. Even in PALS also, pediatric ALS, we talk about airway breathing circulation. But in newborn resuscitation, we will take NRP in our small group discussion classes, we talk about TABC. In newborn, first is temperature, then airway, breathing, circulation. So temperature is so important that it is mentioned before the airway. So when a newborn baby is coming out, first we dry the baby. Why? Because we don't want the wet thing to get attached, the liquor to remain attached to the baby's body, because it will undergo evaporation and it will lead to heat loss from the baby. Then we wrap it in a dry cloth. We just discard the wet towel, we wrap the baby in a warm towel. And of course, when I will teach you neonatal resuscitation, you will have to switch on the radiant warmer and warm the towels even before the baby is coming out, because we don't want hypothermia. Hypothermia jodi thake, resuscitation won't be successful. So temperature regulation is so important. So why? Because the newborn is very much susceptible to heat loss. We have learnt in physics during our class 10 or class 9 the 4 ways: radiation, convection, conduction, evaporation, the 4 basic things. Those 4 ways of heat loss, they are applicable to a newborn baby. How? Because radiation to the surrounding environment, it happens, so heat is getting lost. Convection to the air flowing in the surrounding, and conduction to the substances in direct contact. If you place the baby on a cold surface, the body heat will go into the cold surface. Okay? And evaporation of fluid from the skin. If you don't dry the baby, the fluid will evaporate and it will lead to fall of temperature. So, I have taken this chart from O.P. Ghai textbook of pediatrics, the most lucid pediatrics book ever. So, just understand it and read from there. So, what is hypothermia? This is a pathogenesis. You just learn about the, just need to understand the pathogenesis, everything will be simple. So, what happens? Suppose there is hypothermia. I will talk about different types of hypothermia in my subsequent slides, but first you learn about the pathogenesis. What happens? Why hypothermia is so important? When a baby is having hypothermia, immediately catecholamines are getting released in the body because it is a stressful condition for the newborn. So catecholamines, adrenaline, noradrenaline, the epinephrines, they are all getting released. So what will they do? They will uncoupling of beta oxidation in brown fat. I will talk about brown fat. You don't have brown fat, but newborns have brown fat. That is also a special thing. They are blessed with brown fat. So why is brown fat a blessing? Because brown fat has beta oxidation going on inside them, and they generate heat. That is a special thing. Okay, what happens? So if catecholamines are getting released, they will affect the brown fat. They will do what? They will cause uncoupling of the beta oxidation in the brown fat. So brown fat heat generation will stop. Okay, and there will be release of the free fatty acids in the body. And these free fatty acids will do what? Usually bilirubin is bound to albumin. In biochemistry you have learnt about it. So this free fatty acid will displace the bilirubin bound to albumin, so that free bilirubin will cause neonatal jaundice. This is one pathway. Next, these catecholamines are going to increase the metabolic rate. That is the basal metabolic rate. Okay. So if the metabolic rate is increasing, the blood glucose is getting more and more used up, it will get exhausted, and so the baby will have hypoglycemia. And obviously, when you have more metabolism, there will be more and more requirement of oxygen in the body. Okay. So a single catecholamine is causing neonatal jaundice, neonatal hypoglycemia. Even because of the increased oxygen requirement, what will happen? There is anaerobic metabolism. Just remember about the glycolysis pathway, which is the basic pathway of biochemistry. If oxygen is not there, anaerobic pathway will take precedence, and there will be production of what? Lactic acid. So more and more lactate means what? The baby will turn up into shock. We don't want that. Okay. So there will be anaerobic metabolism, anaerobic glycolysis, hypoxemia. There is less amount of oxygen because je oxygen ta amra supply korchi, the demand is more. The demand and supply disparity is there. So there will be hypoxemia, and again because of anaerobic pathway there will be metabolic acidosis because of the lactic acid. Okay. Again, this catecholamines will again cause pulmonary vasoconstriction and peripheral vasoconstriction. Because of, if the pulmonary arteries are undergoing constriction, there will be less blood supply to the lungs. The lungs will have hypoxemia again. Ventilation perfusion mismatch. Okay? Because of the peripheral vasoconstriction, the periphery will become cold. Okay? And again, hypothermia can cause reduced production of surfactant in the lung. There will be respiratory distress. So, a single hypothermia is able to trigger so many dangerous processes in the body of the newborn. Therefore, temperature should be maintained. This slide explains why temperature regulation is so important. Okay? So, if we, what is the normal temperature? Anyone? 36.5 to 37.5. তাহলে ওই রেঞ্জে টেম্পারেচার মেনটেন করাটা কতটা ইম্পর্টেন্ট বুঝেছো? যদি না মেনটেন করি জন্ডিস হবে, হাইপোগ্লাইসেমিয়া হবে, শক হবে, সব মানে প্রবলেম শুরু হয়ে যাবে। ঠিক আছে? Even তখন at that point of time you will think the baby is having sepsis. But it's not sepsis, it's hypothermia. When I taught you about neonatal sepsis in the class, one of the mimics of neonatal sepsis was hypothermia. First check the newborn. So clinics is very important. Now we will talk about brown fat. What is brown fat? It is non-shivering thermogenesis. Normally, how do we generate heat? When we shiver, heat is generated in the body. But newborns are blessed. They have brown fat. They don't need to shiver to generate heat in the body. So, there is non-shivering thermogenesis. Where is the brown fat located? It is located in the axilla, the groin, the nape of the neck, the interscapular and the perirenal areas. Those are the places. And they have rich blood vessels. And they have also sympathetic innervation. এই সিম্প্যাথেটিক ইনারভেশনের জন্যই যখন ক্যাটেকোলামিনস বেড়ে যাচ্ছে সেই ক্যাটেকোলামিনস গুলো এসে বিটা অক্সিডেশনটা বন্ধ করে দিচ্ছে। ঠিক আছে? দে হ্যাভ রিচ ব্লাড ভেসেলস, দে হ্যাভ রিচ ইনারভেশন and but unfortunately the preterm babies, the small for gestational age babies, they have less brown fat. So temperature management in those babies is of utmost importance. Understood? Now we will, this is another term, what is thermoneutral zone. This definition you must learn. This is a narrow environmental temperature range in which a newborn can maintain normal body temperature with the least basal metabolic rate and oxygen utilization. মানে এনভায়রনমেন্টের একটা টেম্পারেচারের কথা বলছি, সেখানে নিউবর্ন নিজের বডি টেম্পারেচারটা মেনটেন করতে পারবে এবং সেই বডি টেম্পারেচারটা মেনটেন করতে ওকে মেটাবলিক রেট বাড়াতে হবে না এবং ওকে বেশি অক্সিজেন রিকোয়ারমেন্টও লাগবে না। সো ইট ইজ অ্যান অপটিমাম কন্ডিশন। So if the BMR is normal, the metabolic rates are okay. The baby will not use up the stores and face hypoglycemia. The baby will not use up the stores and face increased oxygen requirement and anaerobic metabolism. We don't want anaerobic metabolism in the baby. So we need to set the environmental temperature to such a temperature range that the baby is able to maintain the optimum temperature and the baby is in peace. Okay? We don't want to disturb the baby. So what is the temperature? It is higher at lower, actually this temperature is set in our sick newborn care units and in the NICUs and even in the OTs, 25 degrees Celsius, 25 to 28 degrees Celsius. Don't do 21, 22. Just look at the ACs, air conditioning units in the OT and the NICU, SNCU. It is set at a particular temperature range. That is the thermoneutral zone. Okay? So this thermoneutral zone is higher for the preterm low birth weight babies. Okay? This thermoneutral zone will be higher when the baby is not clothed. Okay? This thermoneutral zone will be higher if the baby is born in the early postnatal days. যত ছোট বেবি হবে টেম্পারেচারটা তত বেশি রাখতে হবে because they have more heat loss. Okay? Now how we do measure the temperature? This is also very important. Axillary temperature is safer than rectal temperature And we use digital thermometer, not the mercury thermometers anymore. We use digital thermometer. And what is the technique? Place the bulb of the thermometer on the roof of the dry axilla, parallel to the trunk, and hold the baby's arm close to the body until you hear the beep sound. একজন দেখাও তো কিভাবে থার্মোমিটার হোল্ড করে। ইউজ ইউর পেন অ্যান্ড শো মি, ডেমনস্ট্রেট। Imagine it is a thermometer and you will have to examine the temperature of your friend. How will you do it? Yes, very good, very good. Until you hear a beep sound, okay? Okay, now just look at this. This is very much asked in the examination. These exact lines are very much asked in the neonatology examination. One can get a reasonable idea about a baby's body temperature by touching the baby's hands and feet and the abdomen with the back of the examiner's hand. এটা পরীক্ষায় জিজ্ঞেস করা হয়। If you are asked, just see the temperature of the baby. If there is no thermometer, how will you get an idea? Just don't do this. This is this back of the hand. এই মিস্টেকটা পরীক্ষায় খুব হয়। Back of the hand, just remember, okay? So কি করে দেখবে? প্রথমে feet and the hands and compare that temperature with the chest and the abdomen. তাহলে peripheral temperature with the trunk temperature, ঠিক আছে? So this is a crude method by touching the baby's hands and feet and the abdomen with the back of the examiner's hand. The baby's body temperature is normal if the hands, feet and abdomen feel warm. যদি দুটোই warm থাকে তাহলে ঠিক আছে। আর warm abdomen but cold feet and hands indicate mild to moderate hypothermia, and cold feet, hands and abdomen would suggest severe hypothermia. Okay, তিনটেই ঠান্ডা মানে severe. যদি periphery ঠান্ডা but trunk is normal, then it's mild to moderate. তাহলে কি করতে হবে? You will have to warm the baby. Okay. Now, what is the frequency of measurement? We have a WHO guideline. Once daily temperature should be measured, preferably in the early morning hours for well temperature newborn, normal baby, term baby, well newborn. If the baby is having low birth weight, that is between 2 to 2.5 kilos, you will have to measure temperature for 3 times a day. But provided that low birth weight baby is healthy, the baby is not sick. Now, if the baby is below 2 kilo, then 4 times a day. But if the baby is sick, be it a term baby, preterm baby, VLBW, you will have to examine temperature every 2 hours. Okay? Again, mothers should be encouraged. Motherকে শিখিয়ে দিতে হবে এই টেকনিকটা। তাহলে mothers can also assess. Okay? Now, look at this chart. This is asked in the examination, the temperature range for hypothermia. So, hypothermia can be mild, that is cold stress. It can be moderate and severe. So, what is cold stress? 36 to 36.4 degrees Celsius. Okay? What is moderate? 32 degrees Celsius to 35.9. What is severe? It is less than 32 degrees Celsius. And what is hyperthermia? More than 37.5. তাহলে এই টেম্পারেচার গুলো মুখস্থ করতে হবে, ঠিক আছে? This is the classification and this is based on the axillary temperature. What is the normal body temperature? It is 36.5 to 37.5. Okay. Now we will talk about some conditions which are causing hypothermia. So what are the conditions? When you are exposing the baby to cold environment, low ambient temperature, cold surface, cold air, neonate is wet, like diaperটা ভিজে গেছে অনেকক্ষণ বাট ওটাই পড়ে আছে, তো অনেকক্ষণ তো কোল্ড এনভায়রনমেন্টে এক্সপোজড হচ্ছে, not clothed adequately, and higher risk of mortality is there if the baby is premature and hypothermic, hypoglycemic and hypothermic, and having perinatal asphyxia and hypothermic. Okay, তাহলে এই কন্ডিশনস গুলো হলে পরে হাইপোথার্মিয়া হয়। These are the predisposing conditions. What is hyperthermia? If the environment is very warm, when summer times direct sun exposure and overheating in the incubator or radiant warmer. তো টেম্পারেচার কমটাও যেমন দেখতে হবে, টেম্পারেচার বেশিটাও তেমন দেখতে হবে, ঠিক আছে? Now, these 10 points you will have to learn by heart. What is warm chain in newborn? Warm chain এ এটা শর্ট নোটও দেয়, ঠিক আছে? What is warm chain? If you maintain these 10 points, the baby will not have hypothermia. What is number 1? Just remember the sequence. The baby is born and what you are doing. Number 1, warm delivery room. আগে থেকে প্রিপেয়ার করে রাখতে হবে, ডেলিভারি রুম ওয়ার্ম, এসি চললে পরে 25 থেকে 28 চলবে, রেডিয়েন্ট ওয়ার্মার টাওয়েলস প্রি হিটেড, তাহলে ওয়ার্ম ডেলিভারি রুম। নাম্বার 2, ইমিডিয়েট ড্রাইং অফ দ্য বেবি, দেন স্কিন টু স্কিন কন্ট্যাক্ট, মায়ের কাছে দিয়ে দাও, স্কিন টু স্কিন কন্ট্যাক্ট, স্টার্ট ব্রেস্ট ফিডিং, বেদিং অ্যান্ড ওয়েইং শুড বি পোস্টপন্ড, সঙ্গে সঙ্গে ওজন করো, সঙ্গে সঙ্গে চান করানো চলবে না, ওকে বলবো আমি পরে। দেন ক্লোদিং অফ দ্য নিউবর্ন, মাদার অ্যান্ড বেবি শুড বি কেপ্ট টুগেদার, ওয়ার্ন ট্রান্সপোর্টেশন অফ দ্য নিউবর্ন, একটা ওয়ার্ড থেকে আরেকটা ওয়ার্ডে নিয়ে যাচ্ছ বা হসপিটাল চেঞ্জ করছো, ট্রান্সপোর্টেশন ইজ অলসো ভেরি ইম্পর্টেন্ট। ওয়ার্ন রিসাসিটেশন, ইফ দ্য বেবি ইজ সিক or if the baby requires resuscitation, it should be done under radiant warmer. Okay, the environment should be warm. And training and awareness raising, okay, among the doctors, the healthcare professionals, the nurses, everyone. Now we will talk about it in detail. Mostly ambient temperature should be at least 25. 25 এর তলায় নামা যাবে না। Dressing in multiple layers of warm and light clothes is better than single layer of heavy woolen. একটা মোটা woolen-এর থেকে multiple layers of light clothing এ বেশি heat conservation হয়, ঠিক আছে? Kangaroo mother care, that is skin to skin contact between the mother and the baby, and that will also facilitate breastfeeding, okay, and bonding between the mother and the baby. And bathing, কখন চান করানো হয় বেবিকে? Bathing is postponed until the umbilical cord falls off. umbilical cord পড়বে তারপরে বেদিং, ঠিক আছে? and obviously 2 কিলোর তলায় যদি ওজন হয়, যতদিন না 2 কিলো হচ্ছে, no bathing, okay, because that will lead to insensible water loss and heat loss from the body. Co-bedding or rooming in, you will have to keep the mother and baby together. So if the mother and baby is together, there will be kangaroo mother care, there will be skin to skin contact, there will be more amount of breastfeeding, so hypothermia tar hobe na. One transport, এই 10টা চেনের মধ্যে one transportation is the weakest link, because one transportation এ hypothermia হওয়ার চান্স বেশি, because environment control করতে হবে, কিভাবে ট্রান্সপোর্ট করছে সেইগুলো দেখতে হবে, ঠিক আছে? So this is a picture again from Ghai textbook. Just look at the clothing. A well clothed premature baby in mother's lap. So mother's lap এ রাখতে গেলে কত wrapping দেখো, just like a gift, okay? Then a well covered baby in radiant warmer. Clothing of the baby under radiant warmer improves thermal protection and provides developmental supportive care. Again, this developmental supportive care is a different chapter, because if you maintain temperature, it has also a role to play in development of the baby. It influences the nervous system also, okay? Just look at this baby. The baby is wearing a cap, the baby's arms are covered, okay? The baby's body is covered. Even when you are keeping the baby on mother's lap, we see whether there is cap, whether there is gloves and socks, okay? But obviously, don't overheat the baby by doing excessive covering. So there should be a balance, okay? So this is a picture, this is incubator for the extremely low birth weight babies, and this is the radiant warmer. You can visit our SNC or NICU, we have radiant warmer. Even in our OT, we have radiant warmer. You can go and see the machine there, okay? So there are some basic differences between radiant warmer and incubator. Just look at the picture. There is a hole. It is a totally double walled enclosure inside which the baby is there, and you have holes which is for our work actually. And this is the radiant warmer. This is an open system, and this is the heater. The heat will come out from this region, and here we have the control panels. I will show it to you. So this is the difference between radiant warmer and incubator. What are the differences? Radiant heater is installed over a bassinet and it provides heat, that is an open care system. So this is a bassinet and here is the warmer. So this is an open system. But incubator is circulation of warm air by an inbuilt heater and fan. That is the method is convection. Radiant warmer মানে radiant কথাটা মানে radiation হচ্ছে, ঠিক আছে? And incubator we have convection and it is a closed system. So you can see there is circulation of warm air through these walls and that is making the air warm. So that is convection. Access to the baby, obviously radiant warmer is open, so baby ta dhorte easy, but it is restricted in incubator. Now insensible water loss obviously will be greater in radiant warmer. Why? Because it can result in dehydration. Okay, but incubator the insensible water loss will be less. So below 1.5 kg, below 1500 gram, incubator is a better option. Now humidification, humid air can be used in an incubator because if you use humid air, the insensible water loss will be less. কেমন করে বোঝাবো? এয়ার এর মধ্যে যদি বেশি ওয়াটার ভেপার থাকে তাহলে ইভাপোরেট না, হিট লস কম হবে, ঠিক আছে? Now maintenance and disinfection easy for radiant warmer, difficult for incubator, and cost obviously incubator is high cost. কারণ মেশিনটা দেখো, walls আছে ডাবল ওয়ালড, then ports আছে, air circulation system it is going to cost. Okay, now this is the control panel. Exactly this thing is present in our radiant warmer. If you are interested, please visit our OT or our SNCU NICU. You will be able to see. Okay, so suppose, so there are two modes. These are technicalities, you can learn about it later also if you choose pediatrics, or even in the internship also you will be able to see. There are two modes. Number one, servo control mode, and number two, আমি ক্লাসের শেষে চলে এসেছি, অত আর বেশি বাকি নেই। সার্ভো কন্ট্রোল মোড আর ম্যানুয়াল মোড, ঠিক আছে? তো সার্ভো কন্ট্রোল মোডটা ইজ বেটার, কেন? বিকজ দের ইজ আ কেবল, এই যে তারটা দেখছো, এই তারটার এন্ডে এই জিনিসটা আছে, ঠিক আছে? This wire is starting from here, control panel, and it is coming up to here, to the baby's body. So what will it do? I am setting the temperature here. I want 36.5. And this is the baby's temperature, that is measured temperature. Okay. So I want 36.6 যদি আমার চাই, এটা 36.3, তো এটা দেখে হিটার কি করবে? হিট আউটপুট বাড়াবে। It will try to increase the temperature output. ব্যাস। আর এখানে দেখো 36.8 হয়ে রয়েছে, there is no heater output. I don't want overheating. So if you follow servo control mode, যে সেন্সরটা বেবির গায়ে আটকানো রয়েছে, that is going to control. So there will be no overheating, there will be no underheating. So servo control mode is better than the manual mode. আমি নিজের মতন টেম্পারেচার সেট করে দিলাম আর একটা সেন্সরের থ্রু টেম্পারেচারটা রেগুলেট হচ্ছে, is much better. So just look at it. This bar is the temperature output. এখানে দেখো টেম্পারেচারটা বাড়ানো চলছে, এখানে 0, বিকজ টেম্পারেচার বেশি আছে, তো আমার হিটার কোনো আউটপুট দেবে না, ঠিক আছে? So the skin servo control mode of the radiant warmer and incubator, they help to maintain the desired temperature. Here the infant temperature is 36.3 degrees Celsius as against the set temperature. The set temperature is 36.6. Accordingly, the heater output is 50%. But here the heater output is 0 because the infant temperature is higher than the set temperature. বুঝতে পারলি? ছবিটা ঘাইতে আছে, ঠিক আছে? So if we follow this servo control mode, the baby will be better. Now we will talk about clinical features. So hypothermia pathophysiology you have known, it can affect multiple systems of the body. Now what are the clinical features? Obviously there will be acrocyanosis. Acrocyanosis means what? The peripheries will be cold. Why? Peripheral vasoconstriction. Why? Catecholamines. Understood? Cool extremities. So delayed capillary refill time. কোথায় দেখে capillary refill time? তুই দেখালি যেটা পেরিফেরাল, সেন্ট্রাল ক্যাপিলারি রিফিল টাইম কোথায় দেখে? কিভাবে? টেকনিক 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005. Remove the finger. 1001, 1002, 1003. If within 3 seconds the color is coming back, it is normal. If it is prolonged, ওই 3 এর পরেও কালারটা দেখবে ফিরছে না। পরীক্ষায় কিন্তু জিজ্ঞেস করা হবে, ঠিক আছে? The baby will become restless, lethargic, bradycardia, hypotension, raised pulmonary arterial pressure by pulmonary vasoconstriction. So raised pulmonary arterial pressure. Respiratory distress, hypoxemia. The baby can land up to apnea, poor reflexes, lethargy and decreased feeding. Everything is because of that stress, catecholamines, anaerobic glycolysis. The baby is landing up into shock, peripheral vasoconstriction, pulmonary vasoconstriction. If you know the pathophysiology, you will be able to write the symptoms. Okay? Abdominal distension, vomiting, feeding intolerance. Okay? Acidosis, hypoglycemia, oliguria, azotemia, bleeding. AKI is happening because there is decreased circulation in the body. There is metabolic acidosis, and because of these things, because of the increased metabolic rate, there will be no weight gain, poor weight gain. Okay? How will you manage? Cold stress or moderate hypothermia jodi hoy, then remove the neonate from the source. Mane thanda jayga theke remove koro, immediately remove the source, and skin to skin contact মায়ের কাছে দিয়ে দাও, and warm clothes পরিয়ে দাও, radiant warmer or incubator use করো, and monitor temperature and vitals frequently. Start frequent feeding so that there is no hypoglycemia, and rule out sepsis. Sepsis should be ruled out. But if it is severe, what will you do? Below 32 degrees Celsius. So it is a life-threatening condition. Urgently you will have to treat. Remove from the source, put the baby in incubator or preheated radiant warmer, start oxygen if required, and if the baby is in shock, give normal saline bolus. Okay? And because in severe hypothermia there will be hypoglycemia, we start IV dextrose infusion. Even we will have to give vitamin K. Why? Because there can be coagulation problem. Because severe hypothermia can cause coagulopathy. So vitamin K 1 milligram will be given. And fast rewarming will be done till 34 degrees Celsius. Taatari gorom korbo 34 obdi. Then slow warming should be done. And monitor temperature vitals, and blood culture should be sent, and empirical antibiotics should be started, because neonatal sepsis is also a very life-threatening condition. End of the slides. Okay? I have 5 minutes. 5 minutes. একটা দুটো question করি, ঠিক আছে? সোজা question. Hypothermia types. Mild, moderate, severe. Temperature. ঠিক আছে, ফার্স্টে নরমাল টেম্পারেচার কি? ভেরি গুড। মাইল্ড বা কোল্ড স্ট্রেস কোন টেম্পারেচার? ভেরি গুড। মডারেট, সিভিয়ার, সিভিয়ার less than 32, স্লাইডটা বেরিয়ে গেল। হ্যাঁ। And what is hyperthermia? More than 37.5 degrees Celsius. Okay. এবারে one chain, I will show you the slide, but just try to recall some of the steps. One chain, 10টা স্টেপ বললাম কিভাবে হাইপোথার্মিয়া প্রিভেন্ট করা যায়। ফার্স্ট বল, ভেরি গুড, one delivery room. Then immediate drying of the baby, very good. Then skin to skin contact, nice. তারপরে breastfeeding. Then ওকে, সবাই কিছু না, তাহলে তোমরা শুনেছো ক্লাসটা, খুব ভালো। দাঁড়াও, ওকে, তাহলে পড়ে নাও। এই অবধি ঠিকই বলেছো। ওয়ান ডেলিভারি রুম, ইমিডিয়েট ড্রাইং, স্কিন টু স্কিন কন্ট্যাক্ট, ব্রেস্ট ফিডিং, বেদিং অ্যান্ড ওয়েইং পোস্টপন। বেদিং কতদিন অবধি পোস্টপন হবে? টিল দ্য umbilical cord falls off or 2 kg weight is attained. Very good. তারপরে ক্লোদিং দ্য নিউবর্ন, mother and baby should be kept together, that is called rooming in or co-bedding. Okay, and one transportation, one resuscitation, and awareness and education. What is the weakest link in the one chain? One transportation. Very good. ঠিক আছে, আচ্ছা এবারে আগের টপিকটা থেকে এনিওয়ান টেল মি অ্যাবাউট ডিফারেন্স বিটুইন ক্যাপুট সাকসিডেনিয়াম সেফালহোমাটোমা। সাব কেফালহেমাটোমা সাব কিসের তলায়? অ্যানাটমি সাব পেরিঅস্টিয়াল, ভেরি গুড। আর ক্যাপুট সাকসিডেনিয়াম বল, পরীক্ষার সময় এরকম ভাবে বলতে হবে, ঠিক আছে বল এবারে ক্যাপুট সাকসিডেনিয়ামটা স্কিন অ্যান্ড সাবকিউটেনিয়াস টিস্যু। আরেকটা কি ডিফারেন্সিয়েটিং ফিচার? সুচার কে ক্রস করবে? সাকসিডেনিয়াম। সেফালহেমাটোমা ক্রস করবে না। কোনটা খারাপ বেশি? সেফালহেমাটোমা, ভেরি গুড। বাহ